Let's welcome Amena Bakr in her new role and title. They must issue beautiful red jackets there at KPLER, do they, Amena? Head of Middle East Energy and OPEC Plus at KPLER. It should be orange, actually. Isn't that the KPLER colors?
Yeah, it's orange.
It's orange. Congrats on your new appointment. Very exciting. And
Thank
obviously,
you.
KPLER doing amazing things in their growth story. I mean, David sort of deflected. Maybe Argus is too much business in America. I'm not sure, but ultimately, the idea that the Foreign Corruption Practices Act is really quite a critical piece of legislation that restricts it. Sort of tackles the point of bribing officials in resource-rich countries. Give me that oil concession. Here's a big brown paper bag under the table. It's been a long-standing practice in many countries and many OPEC plus countries that have all of these incredible resources. Your thoughts on that? How does that land, do you think, in these resource-rich countries that who will be the sort of target of such things now that the American companies are unbridled in this action?
Thank you for the question, Sean. Yeah, great question. It's kind of difficult to say at this point, but I think there's a lot of general excitement, especially from countries in Africa, Sean, that do have a lot of resources. They feel that this 4-year window under Trump, they could really push their upstream plans forward. Now, with the help of American companies or with the help of other IOCs, I see a lot of countries within the OPEC plus group and outside the OPEC plus group really pushing their upstream agendas. Is this going to hinder some, U.S. companies from getting blocks and whatever in Africa? I think I don't know, it creates a kind of fair chance.
OPEC Plus is only weeks away now from yet another decision, the whether to go ahead. I think they're facing this decision for is it the third or fourth time to proceed with these unraveling of the 2.2 million barrel a day cuts. On previous occasions in the fourth quarter last year, they decided not to. They kept all the cuts in place. What's that decision look like for them now, do you think, which is, as current policy stands, due to start unraveling those cuts on April 1st?
Yeah, it's still a really tricky situation, Sean, as you mentioned, that they delayed the unraveling 3 times, and they're supposed to start the gradual unwinding at the beginning of April. So you would expect them to make a decision by March on this. Now, given the complexities of what we're seeing in the market, as you clearly laid out, we're having tariffs on one side and then sanctions on the other. So it's a kind of tug of war here that traders are kind of facing a hard time deciphering. And that's why you're seeing this volatility in the price. Now, is there room for OPEC Plus to start this gradual unwinding? I believe there is room for them, especially because the unwinding is a very gradual process that's going to take place over an 18-month period. So the increments are so small. And if you add in the compensation cuts that are being made by a number of these OPEC Plus states, it kind of phases it out, the actual increment that's coming into the market. And just to stress, Sean, I'm sure that you heard that KPLER has been recently named as one of the secondary sources for OPEC. And so we just launched our first assessment, and we can see that compliance is holding strong for the month of January. I expect this to continue in the coming months. So overall, I find
does that include the sort of Iraq has come into compliance, and Kazakhstan and the sort of outliers from last year?
Sure, no, there are still, of course, there's still some countries, especially Kazakhstan, they had one of their major fields come online. So you are seeing them overproduce their target. But overall, of the 18 countries that do have targets, 11 of them have met their targets, and the remaining, I mean, it's overall, I would say compliance from the average in 2024 was over 90%. So that's really good. It's a historical number, Sean. I mean, we've never seen these numbers before. So that is set to continue. And if they continue on this path, the increments would be possible. Again, it would depend. And you know that His Royal Highness Prince Abdulaziz always likes to take this very cautious approach to policy. So I wouldn't say that, we wouldn't see any tweaks coming up, but for now, things look good for OPEC Plus.
Amina, another thing that doesn't appear to be in the oil markets at the moment is geopolitical risk premiums. We have Donald Trump yesterday threatening, quote, all hell will break loose if all the Israeli hostages aren't released in Gaza by Saturday, which is about 4 days away. Your thoughts on that and the geopolitical risk, the absence of it at the moment, if you would assess it as such, or where do you see that playing out?
I don't think it's new, Sean, for markets to be ignoring geopolitical risks. We've seen that throughout last year, for example. It's the market's gotten so used to high levels of geopolitical risk and unprecedented things happening here in the Middle East that it just shrugs. You see these headlines and they don't take it into account. Now, do I think that this is maybe an underestimation of what could happen? Yeah, absolutely. It could. We've seen things here in the Middle East, especially, move in a very negative direction very quickly. So there might be an underestimation by the market. And we need to wait and see as well what happens with Iran, this maximum pressure. It's unclear. I mean, so far, all of these sanctions that have been placed are kind of the same continuation of what Joe Biden had in place. We didn't see this maximum pressure yet. If this maximum pressure does take place, even, sources that I speak to in Iran, industry sources they're saying that their exports could be majorly impacted. We could see, again, a return to Iran exporting 200,000 or 300,000 barrels per day. I mean, that's huge. Why is the market maybe a little bit more relaxed this time? Because we have spare capacity. I mean, within this OPEC Plus group, they could bring online some of the idle capacity that they've been sitting on. So there's the comfort of that cushion.
If I might just follow up, Amina, obviously you are Egyptian and a beautiful, a wonderful Egypt, who are now coming under a lot of pressure and may even come under more if indeed the Israelis restart their attacks on Gaza, on this whole policy of Trump for Egypt to take refugees who are being ethically cleansed potentially from Gaza. Where do you think Egypt goes with that? Can they resist that? Is it something they would eventually relent to, culturally, politically, economically? Where do you think that goes?
You've seen the official statements from Egypt and other Arab countries that everyone is united against the idea of relocating Palestinians out of Gaza into various states, including Egypt. So Egypt's position is very, very clear. I don't see Sisi changing his mind, and he has the support of other Arab states already. Sean, Egypt has 10 million refugees. We have a huge population. We have our economic problems that are pressuring, society there. So I don't think that would change.
When you say 10 million, are you referring to, where are they? Are they Sudanese?
All over, from Africa, from the Middle East, mainly Africa.
Right.
So that's a huge pressure on already a country that's facing many issues with its economy, its currency. So with the Palestinian situation, it's even more delicate.